One of the first challenges a marketing team has to overcome is being seen as the make it pretty department. You see, your sales team is ignoring your marketing content, and the reason has nothing to do with how good the content is. When sales and marketing operate as two separate teams, marketing budgets get cut every planning cycle. Sales reps rebuild materials from scratch, and deals stall for reasons no one can explain. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why sales ignores marketing content, what sales actually wants instead, the 4 places in the cash framework where alignment breaks, and the moves that close the gap. There are a few simple things you can do to close the gap between sales and marketing for good. They're small, but almost no one does them, and I'll show you what they are by the end of this video. If you lead sales, you probably watched your team push marketing's content aside. If you lead marketing, you've watched it happen and felt the frustration. There's a reason this keeps happening, and it's not laziness on either side. You see, sales sees marketing as the make it look pretty department with their PowerPoints and trade show booths. Marketing thinks the job is leads, creative, and brand. The constant tension is that the leads coming over the fence are not the leads that sales wants. Oh, by the way, hi, I'm a lead judge, and for over 20 years, I've worked inside marketing and business operations, helping companies fix what's broken. I use the experience along with automation and AI to help them operate more efficiently and grow revenue. And I have used the approach I'm about to share with you to help even global companies move from a sales team that ignored every piece of marketing content to one that requested it weekly because the content was finally tied to deals they were trying to close. I want to emphasize that part of the problem is when marketing doesn't know what motivates sales, and that's the root of the problem. Before we get to that fix, you need to see what sales actually wants from a lead. That's because that's where marketing tends to solve for the wrong number. When you think about what sales actually wants from a lead, you have to realize that sales wants a prospect they can act on immediately with a high probability of closing. That's the whole story. Sales is not interested in who visited the website or who filled out a form, and they're not interested in who read a white paper or watched a video. Those are vanity metrics to a salesperson. Sales wants to know one thing: is this prospect someone they have a high probability of selling to? When marketing hands over a lead based on a download, sales sees a tire kicker. But when marketing hands over a lead based on a buying signal, sales sees a deal. The vocabulary problem is real here because marketing measures attention while sales measures intent. Until those two things line up, sales will keep ignoring the lead list. Quick question for you in the comments. Has your sales team ever told marketing that the leads aren't good? That happens almost everywhere. So tell me one way that you're solving this in the comments. Okay, the next thing to understand is that marketing is already a part of the sales process. Sales thinks educating the customer is something that sales does, but this is a misunderstanding that breaks the whole system. The customer is self-educating through marketing content long before sales gets an email out. In the old model, marketing did an early handoff to sales. Marketing built awareness, threw a lead over the wall, and walked away. That model is dead. Marketing now works as they should side by side with sales through the entire buying process because no one knows what the customer is researching at any given moment. The customer is reading, the customer is watching and listening, the customer is comparing, and all of that is happening between marketing touches, not between sales calls. Marketing's job is to keep the customer warm, make the customer prefer your brand, and stay in the path of the buyer at every stage. And then when sales finally talks to that buyer, marketing has already been in the room for weeks. In a moment, I'm going to show you how to stop measuring marketing the wrong way because this is where most companies break the alignment. One of the most critical changes that marketing leadership has to make is to stop measuring marketing with a sales ruler. Sales lives on monthly, quarterly, and half-year goals. Marketing just doesn't work that way. Good marketing is persistent and cumulative. It takes time and it compounds. A marketing effort that runs in Q1 may not move the needle for sales until Q3 or Q4. Marketing isn't coin operated. You don't put in $1 and get out $2. It's more of a solid investment in your business future rather than an outcome purchase. And unlike advertising or even your sales team, marketing is selling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Paid marketing still has its place, but Evergreen content matters even more now because evergreen content keeps working long after the campaign budget is spent and the ads stop. Sales team members have to understand that the report period does not match the marketing period. When a sales leader grades marketing on a quarterly close rate, the grade's already rigged. The work that closed the deals this quarter was paid for 2 or 3 quarters ago. By the way, if your sales and marketing teams are still operating in 2 different worlds, I've got a training workshop for sales and marketing teams that fixes this divide at the leadership level. The workshop follows the lessons and the frameworks from my book, Cash. So I'll link the links to the book below, as well as how to get the workshop for your team. This workshop will bring your sales and marketing teams together to perform like a revenue team instead of 2 siloed sales and marketing teams. Now, I mentioned Cash, and Cash is a book that I wrote after observing sales and marketing teams for years. I worked in between those 2 teams and learned what made those teams not work effectively. From that, I've got a simple assessment you can take to understand how your organization is aligned or how well they're aligned. And it's based on CASH, which is communication, alignment, systems, and honesty. And I'll lay out real quick what those 4 pieces are right now. The C is for communication. If sales and marketing are not communicating, they will never understand the value of each other's roles. If they don't understand those values of their roles, there's nothing to align around. The A in CASH is alignment. Alignment requires both teams to understand each other's role and agree on a common goal. Without that, you have 2 teams running in 2 different directions and calling it teamwork. The S is for systems. Communication and alignment have to be recorded in your systems. If the activity is not in a system, it cannot be measured. And if it cannot be measured, no one can prove that it's working. And the H in CASH is for honesty. Honesty is the one most teams skip. Honesty means you're working for the betterment of the business and not for individual numbers. When people game the numbers at the granular or report level, leadership ends up making bad decisions on bad data. Bad decisions hurt the business. Bad business hurts revenue, and revenue hurts jobs. So it starts with one person padding a report. It ends with the company in trouble. Honesty is important as well. So out of those 4 elements, which part of CASH have you seen teams break at the most? Is it communication, alignment, systems, or honesty? I want to know which ones you see. By the way, if you go to takethecashtest.com, you'll find that free assessment where you can get an alignment score to share with your team, plus actionable items and tips to improve your team's alignment. Now we'll touch on marketing measurement for a moment because marketing measurement has changed drastically recently. We'll talk about how marketing wins when the customers respond. One of the best ways for marketing to get the respect of sales, by the way, is when they hear a customer mention a marketing touch. Sales tends to understand marketing's role better when a customer actually talks about it, not when they see a marketing report or vanity metrics. When the customer actually says it out loud. A salesperson can ignore a dashboard for years and then change their mind in a single discovery call. All it takes is the buyer saying, "I've been reading your stuff for months." That sentence is worth more than a quarter of marketing reports. To make this work, though, sales needs to ask a few simple questions on every discovery call. Questions like, "How did you learn about us?" Or "What have you researched?" "Where did your research start?" "What are your thoughts about our company or our product?" Those questions tell sales exactly which marketing touches landed, and they prove that the deal did not start with sales. An important point here is that if a customer says the research began before they talked to sales, then obviously your marketing is working. Now, knowing what customers say is one thing. Getting sales to trust marketing's content is another, and that comes down to who is involved in making it, which leads us to including your sales team in your content creation. If you're a marketing leader and sales is ignoring your content, the first move is to include sales in the content creation process. When sales sees what they know reflected in marketing content, they gain respect for the work. When they see their frontline experience in the content, they start to trust that the content serves their purpose. You have to approach your sales members with the right framing because sales speaks to customers. Sales is the authority on what happens when trying to close the deal. Sales is the subject matter expert. Sales is the closest to the customer, and sales needs customers to be educated in a specific way. When marketing leads with that respect for the sales team, sales doesn't feel like a content factory, they feel like a partner. That shift in posture changes everything about the collaboration. Marketers, this is how you approach sales. Don't ask sales to write content, ask sales what objections they hear every week, or what customers say right before they say yes, or before they say no. And then go build content that answers those exact moments. From a sales standpoint, give marketing the unfiltered version of what your team hears all day. The objections you can't beat with a slide deck are the same objections marketing needs to address with a piece of content. Tell me this, if you're in marketing, when was the last time you sat in on a sales call? Tell me in the comments. Be honest, I've seen the answer be rarely, more times than I care to admit. As we talk about content, let's talk about content sales will actually use, because sales will reach out for content if it helps them close and nothing else. That content that they want has 3 traits. First, it answers objections. Sales wants content that handles the objection before they have to. A buyer asks a question and then sales sends a link. The question is answered. The deal moves forward. That's good content. Secondly, it educates on unique value. Sales wants content that explains the specific value of the product or service, your product or service, not generic category education, the thing that makes this company different. And then finally, the content has to be easy to send. If the content is buried in a content management system, sales won't use it. If sales has to log into a new tool, sales won't use it. The content has to be a link or an embed that lives in the email and in the systems that sales already uses. Sales isn't going to adopt a new tool for content. The content has to come to them. If sales can't find it and send it under 30 seconds, they probably won't use it. All right, all of this adds up to a few easy moves, the moves that I promised you at the beginning of this video. They're small, but they change everything. The reality is that the moves that close the gap between sales and marketing are small and almost no one does them. Marketing has to stop reporting reach and start reporting responses. Sales needs to stop grading marketing by the calendar and start grading them by the customer response. Both teams have to sit down in the same room every week and look at the same customer story. When that happens, the problem of the make it pretty department goes away. And if you want to learn more about how these two teams can create content together and help deals move forward faster, check out this next video.